The secret to achieving whatever you want in life is all down to how you use your brain. If your thoughts, words, and actions aren't aligned with the life that you want, the goal you're trying to achieve, the thing you're working so hard for, it will never come. And this is the trap that most people fall into. They work relentlessly, but they don't realize they're a walking contradiction. They say they want this, and then they act in a completely opposing way. Their external world and their internal world is completely out of sync. And this video is going to change that. The only thing you truly control in this world, totally, are your thoughts, your beliefs, perspective, and action, because they are internal. You have full control over them. Everything in the external world has some element of outside interference. Mastering the 4 communication channels rewires your identity, and this completely accelerates your growth because now you're in sync. And most people lose because they're out of sync. Their internal state doesn't match their external reality and what they're saying that they want. I want to start with a personal story. When I was in university, I was a shell of a man. I was living a life of substance abuse. I had no confidence. I was full of anxiety. I was full of doubt. I wasn't confident in social settings. I would go into university and I would be afraid to speak in front of a class. Presentations and public speaking was my absolute worst nightmare. And this was a cycle that I got caught in because it fueled the other thing. So I was using drugs to mask that pain, to run away from it. But the more I used them, the worse the problem got. The worse the problem got, the more I used the drugs and the substances. And that cycle continued for ages, for about 2 years. Now that I've put so much time into self-development and I've changed as a man, internally and externally, how I think, how I act, what I'm working towards in life, I realise now I was fueling that whole thing. I was setting myself up for failure. I spoke that downfall into existence, and at the time, I didn't realise it. I didn't realise that was happening. Now it's very clear. The thoughts in my head, the words I would speak to myself, the words I would put out into the world and say to other people, my actions, all aligned with someone who was going through that. Well, that is what your reality is going to be. Your external reality syncs up to your internal state. If your internal state is fucked up, your external reality is going to be fucked up, and that's exactly what I experienced. The first of the 4 communication channels that we're going to address is thoughts. Everything in reality starts with a thought. Everything good, everything bad, everything you love, everything you hate, everything you use, this camera, this microphone, this idea, all starts with a thought. It's the inception of absolutely everything. So we have to get control of thoughts. We have to understand thoughts, and we have to make that connection in our head how important thoughts actually are. Your dominant thoughts shape your identity, shapes your world. If you constantly think everything is going wrong, things will go wrong. If you can operate with gratitude and be thankful and be happy and be positive and turn negatives into positives, make a bad day an okay day, make an okay day a great day, that's what will happen because you're thinking about it. So we have to interrupt the negative loops that we can often fall in, and the other communication channels help with this, but we're going to finish with thoughts. Thoughts move at 1,000,000 miles an hour. They are the fastest way that we can think. You won't finish a thought before you go on to the next one, and this is how negative spiraling happens. You get one negative thought, all of a sudden 2 minutes later the world's about to end. You're scared, you're anxious, you're fearful, you're doubting everything. We have to replace that. We have to be able to identify when we're having those negative thoughts and realise that they are just thoughts. It doesn't mean they're you. It doesn't mean they're your identity. We need to break that cycle and stop it at its inception point. All negative behaviour starts with a thought. So we have to start being accountable with ourselves about where it's starting from. We have to become aware of that. We have to do something with thoughts. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. If you don't think in alignment with the person that you're trying to be, it ain't going to come. You're not going to be that guy. Everyone wants to be a little bit more confident than they are. Everyone wants to feel more secure. But you have to think like that now. You can't wait until you're confident to start feeling and thinking confidently. You have to think it now. You have to feel it now. And that's what attracts it into your life. If you think your life is shit, it's going to feel shit. It's as simple as that. You might want other things. You might want a different life or a different lifestyle. But you have to start by addressing your thoughts. You've got to accept you are where you are and it's okay. And I want this, but I'm going to act like I've got that now. That's alignment. Syncing the internal with the external. The second communication channel is speech. Speech is the next extension of thoughts. So when we talk about interrupting the negative cycle at its inception, which is crucial, speech is fantastic for that. This is what I do all the time. I had a group call last night with all my clients, and I actually mentioned it in the group call. I still, to this day, can get caught going down that negative spiral. We're only human. It happens. I speak out loud to myself to break that. The way you think isn't how you would talk. And when you're spiraling, that's easy to do in your head. If you were talking out loud to somebody else about the exact same thing that you're spiraling about in your head, you wouldn't spiral, because you have to finish the sentences. You have to make it make sense. And as you're saying it, you would realize, right, this is probably a little bit illogical. I don't need to be so negative about it. So speech is great as a pattern interrupt, and to get out of those negative cycles. You can say to yourself out loud, why am I thinking about that? Why am I being so negative? I just need to be present. I'm worrying about something that's not even happened yet. I'm worrying about the future. The future isn't now. The present is now. I only need to focus on what's in front of me. What work am I doing today? What am I working towards? What am I grateful for? Pattern interrupt. It stops the spiral. Not only can you use it when you speak to yourself, but you can use it when you speak to other people as well. The type of energy that you put across. The world is there to interact with. People are just people. They're just humans. The girl at the coffee shop, or the guy behind the counter at Sainsbury's, or wherever you go in life, they're just humans like you and I. But for some reason, we don't like to interact. You know, you might go into the coffee shop and it's just like, hi, you alright? You're not actually asking them, are you alright? You're literally just saying, hi, you alright? It's a bit of a filler. Change that. Be intentional. Ask them a question and mean it. How was your day gone? Listen for the answer. That puts you in a different state of mind. You know, you're not in this robot habitual behavior loop. You're thinking, right, I'm going to interact with this person. I'm going to be present. And little things like that, they seem insignificant. You might be watching this now thinking, well, what's the fucking point in that? Trust me, you get this feeling of just a low level of confidence. It just ticks over. It helps you every single day. You just think, yeah, I'm able to talk to people. Because that's something that we are losing in the modern world. Everyone used to conversate. Now we don't do that. Everyone's in their own little world. I'm not saying you're going to have a heart-to-heart with some randomer you've met in the coffee shop, but it's just that ability, the refining of the ability to have a conversation with anyone. So you can use speech internally, but you can use it externally as well to build some confidence. Speak to other people with intention. Speak positively. Speak full of energy. And that will be reciprocated. And when you get the feelings or the body language or the facial expressions back from people, or you make them laugh, or you make them smile, it gives you a good feeling. You can use speech to guide your nervous system. I'm okay. I'm cool. I don't need to stress out about this. I'm facing some personal problems right now. And it happens. You go down that negative spiral in your head. And then you just say to yourself out loud, why am I worrying about this? Why am I stressing myself out so much? And that is literally me speaking out loud to myself. Why am I worrying about this? Let me just fucking focus on what I'm doing. I'm creating my own pain here. I don't feel like that. I feel calm. Things are going to work themselves out. Is this an ideal situation? No, it's not. You don't have to lie to yourself, but also I'm creating my own pain by thinking about it all the time and going down that negative cycle. So I'm not going to do it. Cool. What am I doing? What am I working on now? Check my to-do list. Right, this is the task that I need to do. Okay, cool. Let's crack on with that. I'm going to put some music on. I'm going to crack on with that. All of a sudden, the direction of my day is completely changed. Thoughts followed by speech. Very important. Let's look at it in a more positive light as well. You can also use it in a bit of an opposing fashion. Rather than breaking a negative cycle, reinforce a positive cycle. When you have positive thoughts, when you feel good, reinforce that with speech. Just done it on the way back from, I went to the gym this morning, then I went to Starbucks, did some work, and in the car on the way from the gym to the coffee shop, I said to myself, why was I ever stressing? What a beautiful morning it is. I've literally just been and trained. I love the gym. I love seeing the people at the gym. I've been to Starbucks. I've got a coffee. I've done some work. I'm grateful for everything that I've already experienced today. I feel good. And then I say it out loud and it reinforces it. Think about the butterfly effect of this. It seems insignificant. It seems small. Trust me, it isn't. This is very, very important. The third is writing. So journaling, reflecting. Writing's crucial. Now, I have this conversation with my clients all the time because a lot of them say, I prefer writing it on the computer. I don't like the writing. I find it boring. It reminds me of being back at school. But you're missing the key point if that's what you think. We have thoughts that move at 1,000,000 miles an hour. We have speech, which doesn't move as fast as thoughts, but it moves quicker than writing. Writing is slow, and this is why you need to do it, because when your brain's going round at fucking 100 miles an hour and everything seems messy, what you have to do to solve that problem is make sense of what's going on. To write your thoughts down, you have to compose the mind, you have to think about what you're writing, and you have to make it makes sense. As messed up as it is in here, you need to now convert that into something that makes sense. That process alone sorts out what's going on in here. So you're feeling very foggy at the minute. You're feeling a little bit confused. Writing forces clarity. You will not solve the problem with a journal entry. You may not get any closer to the problem or solving the problem with a journal entry, but you will feel clearer about what's going on in your head. That's very important. You don't write lies. You will tell lies in your head. You will assume the worst. When it comes to putting those thoughts down on paper, you won't do the same thing. You will not do the same thing. You will not write those lies down. You will not spiral when you write. It won't happen. Think of it like a needle in the haystack. All these thoughts, all rushing around. Right, okay, I need to pluck a sentence out of this. I need to pluck an idea out of this. That's golden. We all have so much going on in our heads. Our ability to make sense of it determines if we feel good or not. If we can't make sense of it, you'll just feel fucking messed up and foggy forever. You've got to develop the skill of writing. The final one, actions. Talk about it on this channel all the time. Talk about it on my IG all the time. This is for your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind remembers everything, but it doesn't care what you show it. If you show it negative action, it will remember that. If you show it positive action, it will remember that. And there's a couple of ways that people let themselves down with this. So you've got negative thoughts with negative action. It's very clear what's going to happen in your reality. If that's how you're thinking, that's how you're acting. This is a trap people get caught in as well. Positive thoughts, but then backing it up with negative actions. Well, that is a misalignment. You know, you can tell everyone and you can put it on your Instagram story and you can tell your mates about this big plan that you've got and you're going to level the fuck up and you're working towards these massive goals, but then your actions scream the opposite. You're still snoozing alarms. You're not sticking to your training plan. You're not looking after your nutrition. It's obvious. When someone explains it to you, it's so obvious. So you have to use actions to reinforce what you're trying to work towards. So important, crucial even. If your actions contradict what you're thinking or what you're working towards, you don't trust yourself, whether you realize that or not, and that's the subconscious mind. The next time you have something big to work towards or some pressure situation, you're going to go into it with doubt and you're going to go into it with fear because you already don't believe yourself. You're failing on a micro level. You're on your phone for an hour a day, wasting time scrolling. You're meant to be working on this thing over here and you've just ignored that. And you get this sudden burst of energy where you're like, no, I'm going to fucking sort this out. I'm not doing this. I'm not living this way anymore. I'm going to do it. You do an hour of good work and then you're back into your old habits. And you think you're getting away with it because no one else can see it. You know, that's your problem. Your subconscious sees it all. You get what you are in life, not what you want. Everyone wants this. Everyone wants that. Few people live the way they need to achieve it. If you can align what you are with what you want, you'll get it 10 times out of 10. So let's recap. 4 communication channels. First of all, we've got thought. This is the seed of your identity. This is where it all stems from. We have to get control of that. We have to become more aware. Then we have speech. Speech is great for 2 things. Amplifying a belief, reinforcing something, or pattern interrupt. Don't be afraid to speak to yourself out loud. Might be fucking weird. No one's there to see it. Man up, get on with it. You will see how effective this is. Writing helps you to gain clarity over the mess in your head, and it's a skill, and you can get better with writing. Make sure you're doing that. Actions show evidence. All 4 of these must be in alignment with what you're working towards. If just one is out of alignment, you're going to feel the resistance, you're going to feel confused, you're going to be scratching your head like, why is this not happening? Why am I not progressing? When you align all 4, you create momentum and you will feel that momentum and everything starts to click. Everyone's experienced that in their life at some point, even on a minor level. So you know what I'm talking about. It's just not happened in the context of the thing that you're trying to achieve right now. But it will, so long as you can master the 4 communication channels. Internal alignment moves the needle faster than anything else, and it's the foundation for everything else. You can't outwork misalignment. I've done that in the past. Doesn't work. You could do fucking 20-hour days, 7 days a week, but you won't get anywhere if you're not aligned. We go really, really deep into this within Functional Physiques, my coaching team. We have the FP7 habit system, which is a key component, why everyone feels so fucking good and why they're building so much momentum. And yeah, they've got the training plan. Yes, they've got the nutrition plan. Yes, we're focusing on physique development and performance, but all of that is succeeded by the habits, the communication with self, the internal alignment. There's a link below. I show you exactly how we turn you into a high performer. I show you the framework that we use at Functional Physiques. And if you want to know more information, fill that form out, drop me a message on Instagram, whatever. If not, and you're just here for the self-improvement, then you're in the right place anyway, guys. Subscribe to this channel. We talk about mindset. We talk about how to create the life that you want by rewiring the mind, building the body, being on the fitness journey but tying in self-improvement. Apply everything that we've spoken about in this video, and I want you to drop me a message in a month's time, and I want you to tell me the impact that this has had, because I know for a fact if you apply this, your life is going to move far quicker than it ever has. Keep grinding, boys. Thanks for watching. Let's go.